Hi and welcome. I'd like to introduce you to a really good friend of mine. His name is COMDaT. He's very important to the Jewish world. He wants to save the Mishnah. I'd love to share his important message with you.
My name is COMDaT. I came here in order to save the Mishnah from the people who no longer study it because they think it's too hard. But in order to do so, I need help. I need your help. If you learn and figure out how to divide the Mishnah into all of the different categories, you will understand the Mishnah perfectly and become part of the COMDaT Alliance. The more you know and the more you decipher, the greater the chances you have in becoming a COMDaT captain and saving the Mishnah forever.
Wow! You guys can save the Mishnah, and Captain COMDaT will teach you how. If you get really good at it, you can become a captain of the Mishnah yourselves. But what is COMDaT? Kaf, Aleph, Mem, Daled, Tet. COMDaT. What do these letters mean? Let me explain. COMDaT is like a puzzle. Each piece belongs in a specific place and plays an important role in making the puzzle whole. If you had a puzzle made up of pieces that were all the same color, it would be very hard to assemble. It would also be pretty dull. This is what it would look like. But what if I gave you colored puzzle pieces? Well, you could get really creative. It could look like this. Or maybe like this. But if you use COMDaT, all the colors are aligned and organized neatly. Each color represents a category. Each category is another step in deciphering, that means figuring out, the Mishnah. The first category in yellow is Kaf, and it represents Koteret, which means title. Titles help us identify the subject even before we know any of the details. Take, for example, that brown book on the left. It says Shemitah. Even before you start reading, you already know what the book will be discussing, the laws of Shemitah. Now take the purple book right next to it. Based on the title, can you guess its subject? Let's go to the second category in red. The second category in red is Aleph, and it represents Omer, a rabbinic saying. Every statement or ruling in the Mishnah has an author, but sometimes it looks like there is no author because no name is mentioned. We call that a Stam Mishnah. It is accepted that the author of a Stam Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. In a case in which there is more than one opinion, or there is a disagreement on the ruling, there may be a few rabbis mentioned. The first opinion mentioned will always be Tanna Kama. Tanna Kama means first sage, the first rabbi. Any opinion that follows will have a rabbi's name. That is our Omer, our rabbinic saying. Anytime you see an Omer in a Mishnah, you know that there is more than one opinion. Otherwise, the name would not have been mentioned. That is why we emphasize the name in red, to make it clear that there is more than one opinion. Let's move on to the third category in purple. Mem in purple is for mikre, meaning case or incident. Every situation is made up of details that make it unique. For instance, the setting of a story, the plot of a movie, or the case at hand. Specific information that contributes to the incident is part of the case. A situation, circumstances, questions, time or date. For example, on Wednesday, John went to a party and broke a glass. That is a mikre or case. The fact that on Wednesday John went to a party and broke a glass. Now let's go on to the next category in green. Green is for din. A din is a ruling or a decision. It is the law for the case presented in the Mishnah and the halacha that we follow in similar situations. Some keywords to look for when trying to identify a din are tameh or tahor, asur or mutar, chayav or patur, pasul or kasher, lo yatsa or yatsa. Other examples are harei, lo, en, or ad. When you see these keywords in the Mishnah, you already know that they are part of the din. Let's move on to the last category in blue. The last category in blue is tet, for tam. A tam is a reason, and it symbolizes the meaning behind something. Some keywords to look for that will help recognize tam are shene'emar, usually followed by a pasuk, a verse from the Torah, mipnei, shema, or Talmud lomar, or lefishe, or ki. A tam doesn't always appear in every Mishnah, but remember, every statement has a reason, even if the Mishnah doesn't always bring a tam. That's it. Using these colors and dividing the Mishnah into the COMDaT categories will make learning Mishnah simple and fun. Alright, now it's your turn. Try to think of examples for each of the COMDaT categories. הנה משימה, כדי שתוכלו לבחון את עצמכם ולבדוק אם הבנתם את השיטה של המנהיג COMDaT. קחו דקה ותנסו להמציא סיפור המתאים לצבעים של החומה. מוכנים? היכון? צא. זה היה כיף. הנה עוד משימה. Now that you've mastered the COMDaT categories, I hereby deputize you COMDaT warriors. So get ready to conquer Mishnah learning. Have fun!